Thank you for the kind introduction. Okay, it's so great pleasure to have this opportunity to present some ongoing study our team is working on. And this is a collaborative work by the VA CIRC, which I'm also affiliated with, and also the VAX cohort team and the VAVE Healthcare. So next page. Personally, I don't have anything to disclose. And a little bit background. Polypharmacy is we have here already a lot from the previous presentation. And just want to point out one particular study is also from the VAX team that they found that there were 10% more drug interactions among people with HIV compared to the people without. And then they're using a specialized database called Drug Bank Database, and it covers all the FDA-approved drugs and even more investigational drugs. And in terms of drug interactions, and it covers 1.4 million known pairwise drug interactions based on from the either official agencies like the FDA, the European Medicines Agency, the Health Canada, or from the scientific literatures, including various kind of studies, the case cohort study, case control, and a little review. And here I just to show you a particular example how a particular drug interactions is recorded in that database. And point you just a couple of columns there is one is called severity, and it has three values. 0 is for the minor, and 1 is for the moderate, and 2 is for the severe. And also the evidence level, which includes two values, 1 and 2. 1 is like this information is pulled from the official agencies, and 2 means this is from scientific publication, which may not mentioned by the official agencies. So given that, what are we doing in this study? We look at the people with HIV only, and then we compare the frequency of no pairwise drug interactions among them, and we stratify them by the regimen groups, namely the 2 drug regimens versus 3 versus 4. So what we included in those regimens. So for the 2 drug regimens, we are talking about those 2 dolutegravir-based regimens. And for the 3 drug regimens, we defined it as 1 core agent plus 2 NRTIs. And for the 4 DR regimens, we define as like a 3 DR plus a booster. And that we do require that the regimens have to be filled at least 90 days with a refill window of 30 days. And in terms of our population, we used the VAX cohort study. We included all the people with HIV from that study and who received at least 1 prescription of those eligible regimens between the physical year 21 through the 23, 3 years. And then the only exclusion is we removed the people who took more than 15 non-ARV medications. And so let me briefly walk you through how we do this study. Actually, there's a given 3-year period. So for a particular individual person, and we found what's the ERT regimens this person was taking. And if there is multiple, like this one, this person was on like 2 different ERT regimens, first on the 3DR, then switch to the 2DR. We will count the latest one. We will assign this person to this 2DR group. And then during this ERT regimen group, and we will find all the non-ERT drugs. Here, we highlighted in the red box, we will find the non-ERT drug 2, 3, and 4 because they have at least 1 day overlapping with the ERT regimens. Okay, given all the ERT drugs and the non-ERT drugs, we will check for each pair of those. We check if there is no drug-drug interactions by searching the database, the drug bank database. So here, because drug 1 is taken before the ART regimen, so it's not relevant, so we will check like each pair. Okay, comes to our population. Here is just give you a sense about what's the population look like. And in total, we include over 21,000 individuals, and with over 16,000 assigned to the 3DR group, and about 1,600 into the 2DR group, and the rest on the 4DRs. And just to point out a couple of important differences across groups. One is on the age. You will see that the people on the 2DR group tend to be older, and in terms of both the median age and the proportion of the over 65. And the second difference is you will see that the terms of comorbidities is either measured by the Charlson Comorbid Index or the VAX Index 2.0. So both measures basically suggest that people on the 2DR is more like a sicker or more frail compared to the 3 or 4DRs. And then the main result is, I will show you a series of these figures. So in all the figures, the x-axis is the number of non-ARV medications. And on the y-axis is the average number of the drug interactions. So as you may expect, as number of non-ARV drugs goes up, you're expecting to have more drug interactions. And from the left panel, we show the total number of drug interactions between all the available drugs the person was taking. And in the middle, we show that only the drug actions between the ARV and the non-ARVs. And on the right, we show that only the drug interactions between the non-ARVs. And the 3 lines represent our 3 regimen groups. And the color the band is kind of a 95 confidence interval. And the few messages taken from this graph is that overall, the total number of drug interactions increase and a lot as people taking more non-AR medications. And then if you compare the panel A versus panel C, we see that most of the drug interactions actually happen from between the non-ARVs. And then if you look at the middle, we see that the people on the 4DRs tend to have greater increases as the non-ARV medications goes up. That's, I think, is not surprising because they have a booster there. And then we break it down, the 2DR group, into the 2 specific regimens, the DTG3TC and the DTG-RPV. And the difference shows up is in the middle panel. And you see there is line representing the DTG3TC, which had a smaller increases and compared to the DTG-RPV and the 3DR. So it has a smaller increases versus the other groups. And everything basically maintains the same pattern. And now we further restricted our drug interactions to the moderate or severe drug interactions. Simply we ignore the minor ones, and then we redo this analysis. And we found that, again, the main difference shows up in the middle panel. It's between the ARV and the non-ARVs. We see that the DTG3TC and the 3DR group, they both have a relatively smaller increases, and as the number of non-ARV medications goes up. And so quick conclusions. First, we saw that the people on the 2DR group tend to be older and more frail. And our guess is that providers may have already taken potential drug interactions into account. And then now the second is generally we saw that a lot of drug-drug interactions, and most of them happened between the ARV and the non-ARVs. And in terms of groups, we saw that DGG3TC kind of had the lowest ARV, non-ARV drug interactions compared to the other two groups. And then the last kind of the one is, we think that assessment of all the medications and is critical for prescribing. And last, I will take a moment to thank all our colleagues and a variety of funding agencies. Thank you for all your attention.